hello, or Dzień dobry, or witamy. I thought I'd go through my Polish phrasebook and dictionary today. I can't really speak Polish at all, but I'm trying to learn the language. To jest moje marzenie mówić po polsku. It is my dream to try to speak Polish. I think I said that right. I'm not sure if my grammar's correct there. To jest moje means it is my dream, I know, is marzenie, and speaking Polish is mówić po polsku. I'm learning it because I think it's a really beautiful language, and I would like to be able to speak and read it. There's a poet called Czesław Miłosz, who I really like as well, and I would very much like to be able to read his poetry in Polish. But I'm a beginner. I'm not very good at all, so I only know basic words, really, and my memory's awful, and I don't speak any other language other than English. And I've read that Polish is particularly hard if you really don't have a history of learning languages. It's essentially a baptism of fire. You're throwing yourself in at the deep end with this, but that doesn't deter me. I'll still give it a go. So this is just really a very basic little phrasebook that you would take with you on holiday, for example. If you are Polish or you speak Polish, do let me know. I'm sort of desperate for Polish friends. I'm also half Polish myself, so I'm a little embarrassed that I can't read or speak the language. I feel it's also something of a duty to learn it. So straight away, something that I love about Polish are these clusters of consonants they have, and I can't fully discern the difference between them yet. I know I'll get there in the end, but you have some clusters that make a sh sound and others that make a sh sound, and there's very little difference between the two sounds. But that's true of English as well. I don't think that's unique to Polish. For instance, if I were to say to someone who perhaps English isn't their first language and they're just learning it, if I were to say to them ship and sheep, they might not necessarily hear that very subtle, slight difference between I and E. It's very small, really. So I think it's just the same here. It sounds more daunting than it is. If I can discern ship from sheep, I can probably discern, there's not an example here, but je from sh. I'll get there in the end, basically, is what I'm saying. Polish alphabet has a few more letters than the English one. It's got these really great, I don't know the name of it, but it's an L with a line through it, which makes a W sound, a W sound. I find that particularly pleasing. And their vowels are nice. It's honestly such a beautiful language. I feel like it's overlooked. I don't quite know why. And it's great for ASMR. One Polish person told me once that Polish sounds like the wind in the trees, because it has all of these sh, ch, sts noises. I think they were trying to say that therefore it doesn't sound good, but I think it sounds great. I find it very relaxing to listen to, but maybe that's also part of my upbringing as well. So I'll skip through here and maybe go into the numbers are quite interesting. I like how the numbers sound, 1 to 10. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think maybe 6 is my favourite. That's the cluster of consonants I'm talking about. That's such a nice sound, particularly when that rolls on after 5 and then into 7, if that makes sense. So 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know why I find that so pleasant, but I really do. 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I often get 9 and 10 the wrong way round when I try to remember off the top of my head. I also quite like that 100 is just stop. Very minimalist when we get to 100 there. And then when you get into the tens, it makes sense. It's so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, etc. I believe that Poles roll their R's a little bit, which I'm trying to get used to because I can't actually roll my R very well. So 4, that R needs to be quite present. I'm not very good at doing that. My favourite Polish word is przepraszam, for 2 reasons. One, because it's got that nice sh sound again, and also because it has this P at the beginning of it that you barely hear, but it's quite pleasing to say, przepraszam. So you have a burst of air before you even begin to say the word, przepraszam. It's very subtle, and then you have that rolled R in there as well, which is nice to hear. I can't do it very well, but przepraszam means excuse me or I'm sorry. So let's try and get some sentences, general conversation. Maybe this would be interesting here. So good morning is dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Good evening is dobry wieczór. Dobry wieczór. Good night is dobranoc. Dobranoc. You'll see here a C at the end like that, with no accent over it. You pronounce ts, ts. Dobranoc, like the end of cats. Dobranoc. Goodbye, you've probably heard this before. Do widzenia. Bye, this is interesting. They said cześć is bye, informal, which is true, but it's also hello. It's rather like the Italian ciao, cześć. You can use it to say hello or goodbye, but it is informal. So you wouldn't say that. You probably wouldn't say that to someone at work unless you knew them very well. You probably wouldn't. So you wouldn't say it to a colleague. Maybe you wouldn't say it in a coffee shop when you're ordering a coffee. You wouldn't go cześć. Blah blah blah. I don't know how to order a coffee. See you later. I don't know this one. Do zobaczenia. Do zobaczenia. Do zobaczenia. Do zobaczenia. So you've got to get the emphasis right. I was doing that wrong. So it's do zobaczenia. Do zobaczenia. That's it. Do zobaczenia. How are you? Co słychać? Co słychać? Co słychać? So this is potentially confusing. So you've got CO, but remember C begins with that t's noise. So it's so. SL, but it's an L with a line through it. So that's actually W. So CH in English is pronounced ch, but in Polish is h. And then a C again, but this time, unlike that C, you have the accent over it, so that's actually pronounced ch. So so swihat. It's even difficult. Even when I know the rules, it's quite difficult to get it right. It's very tricky. That means how are you? So swihat. I'm probably getting that wrong. I've never heard this one before. So swihat. How are you? So swihat. Another instance of that, ch. Pronunciation is in bread. Polish for bread is chleb. Chleb. And it begins, you spell chleb, ch, leb. Over here we have introductions. Moje nazwisko. Moje nazwisko means my name is. There's another way of saying my name is nazywam się. I think nazywam się means I am called. Interesting. This is tu jest. You see tu jest quite a lot. Mój mąż, my husband. Tu jest mój syn. Tu jest mój chłopiec. That's a nice word to say. Chłopiec. Chłopiec means, that means my boyfriend. For some reason I thought that meant child. Mój kolega, which means my male friend. Tu jest mój kolega. Miło mi. I like that. Miło mi. Pleased to meet you. Sounds quite sweet. Miło mi. And then you would address either a man or a woman. So if it was a man, you'd say miło mi pana poznać. Miło mi pana poznać. If it was a woman, you would say miło mi panie poznać. Or panio poznać. That accent on the A there means it has a nasal tone to it. See what we have here. We've got I'm English. Jestem Anglikiem. Jestem Anglikiem. Jestem z Anglii. Jestem z Anglii. I come from England. What's on here? So pan and panny. Pan means Mr. and panny means Mrs. And you use that when you need to use those when you're speaking to a man or a woman. And I think I might have maybe offended some Polish people when I went to Poland. Oh yes, I've been to Poland. I went to Warsaw and then took a train north into Gdansk, which is beautiful. Gdansk is so lovely. And Warsaw was really nice as well. Warsaw is more of a city. To be honest, Warsaw is a city just like many other places in Europe and in the UK. So it still had a lot of character, but it just feels like any other Western city for large parts of it. Because I come from a city that was less exciting for me, although it was still very enjoyable and I still really liked it and I would like to go back to Warsaw. But Gdansk was, for me personally, just a little bit more interesting because it was very unlike where I'm from and it felt more like an older kind of Poland, which is just interesting from a historical sense. Warsaw itself, though, is, it's so much tragedy there, so many wars, and everything is new, not by choice, but just because everything was completely flattened during the Second World War, And they have this sort of, it's a joke, but not really, that they have the newest old town in Europe, because there is an old town in Warsaw, but they rebuilt it after the war to look like the old town that was there before the war. So it looks old, but actually it's brand new. And it's amazing. The work that they've done there is amazing. It looks so authentic. And it's just wonderful that they were still able to preserve their history despite everything. Anyway, bit of a detour there. There we go. Polska bardzo mi się podoba. Polska bardzo mi się podoba. I get the nasal pronunciation wrong all the time. I go się when it should be się. Polska bardzo mi się podoba. Polska bardzo mi się podoba. Polska bardzo mi się podoba. It's important again to get that emphasis right. It's podoba rather than podoba. Polska bardzo mi się podoba. Sorry. Not very good. I'll get better. Do you have here? I'm looking for some easy ones. That's why I'm going over some of these. I could do all of these, I suppose. It's a bit embarrassing sometimes to labour over them. Czy podoba się Polska? Czy podoba się Polska? So given what limited vocabulary I have, I guess I could say this is probably wrong. Mój po polsku nie jest dobrze. So what I think I'm saying there is my Polish is not good. Nie jest dobrze. Mój po polsku nie jest dobrze. Let me know in the comments if I've got that right. Probably haven't. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the language. Sorry, and I'll also stop apologising. To kiedy jest pan tutaj? That's another word I like. Tutaj. Another great Polish expression, if you can call it that. So you're probably aware of the French comme ci, comme ça. Someone who runs by ask you how you are, and if you're like so, you can say comme ci, comme ça. Neither this nor that, you know. And the Poles seem to have the same thing. And it's jako tako. Jako tako. I like that. This is funny. I don't like the rain, tomatoes. Nie lubię deszczu. Nie lubię deszczu. Nie lubię pomidorów. Nie lubię pomidorów. Pomidorów. The accent. Nie lubię pomidorów. Nie lubię pomidorów. This probably sounds very funny, me sitting here going, I don't like tomatoes. If you speak the language. Nie znoszę. Nie znoszę robienia zakupów. Nie znoszę robienia zakupów. Lubię go. That's easier. Lubię go. It's got a pronunciation guide here. But when it's IE, I hope I'm getting the ending right. Is it lubię? Is it bie? Lubię go. Lubię ją. I like her. Nie lubię go. I don't like him. Czy jest pan zadowolony? Zadowolony. Czy jest pan zadowolony? I don't know what the is. Oh, I don't know what the is. Czy jest pan zadowolony? Zadowolony. 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 Czy jest pan zadowolony? Typically, anything that's a question, not always, but often anything with a question begins with ch. C-Z-Y, ch. That sort of denotes that it's a question. As you can see here, czy jest panu zimno? Czy jest panu zimno? Are you very cold? I would be asking a man. If I was asking a woman, or I didn't add bardzo, czy jest pani bardzo zimno? Are you very cold, woman? Czy jest pani bardzo? Oh, czy jest pani bardzo zimno? Czy jest pani bardzo gorąco? Gorąco. Gorąco. That accent again always trips me up. Czy jest pani gorąco? Anyway, as you can see, that this could go on for a very long time. I thought I'd get through a bit more than this, but when the pressure's on, it's quite difficult to get the pronunciation right. So I'm going to leave this here because it's been 20 minutes already, and I'm not sure if this is going to be of interest. So if you did like this, though, let me know, and I'll do another, because I would love to go through this some more. But I think 20 minutes at a time is surely more than enough. But thank you very much for listening, and if you do speak Polish, or if you are Polish, do say hello, because I would love to know more Poles, and I would love to try and speak Polish to Polish people. But for now, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.